In a distant land, peace was maintained for thousands of years by a fearful dragon clan who could transform into powerful monsters. One day, they discovered a goddess who could fulfill their every wish. Greed split the clan into dark and light dragons, each battling the other to win her magic. One member of the light dragons, along with 7 of his companions, emerged to keep the opposing forces from destroying their world. Using 6 magical keys, they sealed the goddess into another realm. Centuries have passed. The dark dragons are destroying the land in search of the keys. When they find the keys, they will once again release the magic goddess. Light dragon, the time has come to draw your sword and fight for the future of your people. This is Breath of Fire, an RPG from Capcom and Squaresoft, released in 1994. You heard that right, Capcom and Squaresoft. It is notable for some recurring characters and ambiguous continuity. Each game is its own self-contained story, but some people keep popping up throughout. This is available on everything: Android, mobile phones, Game Boy Advance, iOS, PlayStation, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable, Super NES, and Windows. The latest release from 2016 is Breath of Fire 6. Our story commonly involves an adventurer named Ryu who can shapeshift into different types of dragons. Over the course of his journey, he befriends Nina in most of the stories. At its inception, Breath of Fire took place in a medieval fantasy-style fictional world, following the mainstream success of RPGs in the 90s. The series began to use the original anime-style artwork for later Western releases. It started getting into post-apocalyptic themes, increased emphasis on character development, and all that. Despite these changes, the core structure remains largely linear and plot-focused. As of 2016, 6 titles have been released. 3 have been ported to handhelds, as well as the Virtual Console, and 1 ported to the Switch. As of December 31st, 2018, this series has sold 3.2 million copies worldwide. Now, the first game, pretty standard, typical RPG kind of thing going on. We have some anthropomorphic animal-like people, or humans with fantastic powers, like you do. The article for this is huge. Really, really huge. This was developed first by Capcom, previously by the creator of the Ghost and Goblin series, Takuro Fujiwara. Inafune, credited as Inaf King, designed the characters. However, the supervisor took him off the project and replaced him with Tatsuya Yoshikawa. The later artist kept many of the original designs and some new illustrations. Capcom added Easter eggs in the form of cameo appearances by other company franchises characters like Chun-Li. The game's English was a joint effort between Capcom USA and Squaresoft, who handled most of the localization and promotion in North America. Squaresoft would feature the game in the first issue of Nintendo North America's newsletter, the Ogopogo Examiner. Breath of Fire's English localization was primarily handled by Ted Woolsey, who had worked on Final Fantasy Legend III, Mystic Quest, and Secret of Mana. It was a considerable success, according to this, during its original release in Japan, was mostly well received by critics during its release in North America. Game Informer found it to be highly above average, awarding it a 9 out of 10. EGM praised the title's excellent graphics and sound, ultimately stating that even if you're not a fan of these kinds of more deliberately paced games, you'll still get hooked. The 5 reviewers gave it 8, 8, 7, 8, and 9 out of 10. GameFan gave it a 94, 90, and 90 out of 100, concluding that it has beautiful artwork, a great story, very good fight scenes, and some of the most amazing music. Nintendo Power praised its level of exploration, found it to be not as linear as other games such as Final Fantasy II, that means 4, but said that its plot was relatively standard and contained more fighting than adventure fans might like. GamePro felt the story was nondescript and average, and Capcom should have tried for more interesting enemies, different battle screens, or butt-kicking graphics, finding the overall experience to be bland. I probably fall in between the two of them. There is a Let's Play of this by me at the site. There's a Let's Play of this by Jade at the site. I think Jade likes Breath of Fire a little more than I do. I like it. I think it's fine. I think it was a good, really solid first entry for someone like Capcom to come out and do this. But I do feel like it suffers a little bit from that kind of this is how we have to do it, so this is why we do it this way kind of a thing, And the story is really good. I think the graphics are fine. I think the enemy design could have been better. I don't love the music. I think the music is kind of poor myself, but hey, to each their own.